The present. The date of my death has not yet occurred in the calendar of my past days. How do I know? How do I know? Perhaps I've forgotten my death. How do I know? Perhaps I've forgotten my death. My death. But something something would have reminded me. Something would have reminded me.
You are listening to Two Friends, Two Poems, the podcast where everything's made up and the points don't matter. Wait, nope, wrong show. This is the podcast where friends read poetry to each other just to see what happens, and it was my idea. Today, I am joined once again by my friend Paul, as well as my good buddy, Mr. Paden Fallis. All right, like it or not, we're reading poetry.
Wait a minute. Yeah, you told me last week there was two friends.
Well, I didn't know you were gonna.
I didn't know you doing here.
I didn't know you were gonna assume that you were the second friend every episode. So but I'm thrilled. I can use the help.
Oh yeah, no, I'm here for. And Paul, nice to see you. I told him I brought two poems. So how about them apples?
Oh, overachieving.
One is called Ring, as in Ring, and that was written by a good friend of mine's daughter. Her name is Tennyson Shultz, and she's about to begin college at Grinnell University in Iowa. And then the other one I have is called In the Last Minutes of Mexico, and this is by a buddy named Travis Weige. He is the Weige and Weige Knives, which I say is the best culinary knife maker, not just in the state of Texas, not just in the United States. I'm just going to say the best culinary knife maker in the world. I'm just going to put that out there now. But he's also a poet, and he sent me a few to choose from, and I picked that one. So, yeah.
A poet-knife maker is a pretty badass combo. And what did you bring, Paul?
All right. I brought one called The Present by a poet named Allen Grossman. But I actually heard it, and I was looking for a link to it anywhere, and I couldn't find it. The way I know it is that one of my favorite records to listen to is The Orphic Machine by Ben Goldberg. And I actually heard the whole thing get played with Ben Goldberg there at one of Denver's universities, one of our Metropolitan State University. It started as a community college. There were only 40 people there. And it's like my favorite show I've ever seen. And mostly because the poetry of all of it is by Allen Grossman. And it's really heady, mostly. But there was a little 4-year-old girl there, like dancing to it. And it was a revelation to me that if she was able to enjoy it and I was sitting there thinking hard about it, that I was doing something wrong.
Yeah, and I want to say, as somebody, myself who writes a lot and, like yourself, comes from a performing world, I have no history with poetry.
Yeah.
You brought this idea up to me. I was like, I have no reference point. I realized I had, a couple of people I could go to, but me personally, I don't know anything about this world.
I'm in the same boat. I'm, outside of academic stuff that I was forced to read, it's not something that I have sought out until very recently when I, was just trying to find a new way to write, because I was a little stuck in what I was not sure what I wanted to do. And it just kind of became a real freeing exercise that now I'm sort of obsessed with currently. So
all of us, and we've all had creative writing courses. And yeah, I don't think I was ever I don't think it was ever assigned to write poetry. maybe in high school or elementary school, we were learning about Japan and had to write haikus, but
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know that I have ever had a creative writing class, just to be honest with you.
oh,
Really?
really?
Yeah, I
What?
consider myself self-made.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Well,
Yeah.
you're a creative writer.
That's
So, yeah,
awesome.
I guess you didn't need it.
Okay. Well, so I'm gonna do Tennyson's first, which is pretty heavy, but um yeah, I'll start us off, and it's called Ring. R-I-N-G, Ring. How do I fit my story on a page? You see, trauma doesn't take the shape of words. It doesn't fold neatly into place. You can't put it in a box labeled storage and tuck it all away. I'm expected to harness darkness and tame it into sense. I was angry. I am grieving, tense. Descriptions of emotions slide neatly off the tongue, but never can they capture the burning sense of numb that follows the phone call. Ring. The phone call that steals your innocence. Ring. It's a little too scripted, words whispered as if that will cause them to hit you with less force. Childhood slips through the cracks. I can see it seeping through the floors, dripping, dropping, drenching. Ring. There's a heavy silence that follows unforgettable news. Pure disbelief paints the room, and in between pigments of silence stands shock and the stab of realization, the drag of a needle, then the gutting of a knife. The thread that was holding together my life snaps. I snap. How do I fit my story on a page? Ring. I swear someone is tearing my chest in two. The air becomes thick. My legs falter as my shoes lose their grip, sliding and suffocating. I hold it together. My little sister is in the room, and she is only 4. Ring. Words drenched in sugar pile up like homework in the fall. By now, I'm here for you has no meaning at all. I was told it would get better, but everyone who's been there knows. Better is a broad spectrum, and as far as better goes, the pain will subside to just a gentle ache. I will breathe again. It's just a matter of when. Look up. See the beauty of the world. While dead bodies lie at my feet. Ring.
Wow.
I'm snapping. That was beautiful. Wow.
Really is. It's you know, I know the
Childhood.
source of that. I know the source of that material, not that it's for me to say, but yeah,
Right.
it's very yeah. I mean, it's powerful.
That phrase that, what was it? Childhood seeps through the cracks.
Childhood slips through the cracks, and then
Slips
I
through
can
the
see it
cracks.
seeping through the floors. A lot of S's throughout this.
Seeping through the floor. Oh my God. Beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. She's very, very talented. And I think she's going to college to major in English, I believe she said.
In the last time me and Paul talked, I said that I was trying to limit my choices to what I had on my bookshelf. And that, when it comes to poetry, all I have basically is Shakespeare and, like, Chaucer from a college English class. So I went to the library, uh, the East Atlanta branch of Fulton County Public Library. It was fantastic. And I got this great collection called Playlist for the Apocalypse by a poet named Rita Dove.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what I'll be reading today. I'll be reading a poem by Rita Dove entitled Insomnia Etiquette. There's a movie on, so I watch it. The usual white people in love, distress, the usual tears. Good camera work, though. Sunshine waxing the freckled curves of a pear, a clenched jaw. More tragedy then. I get up for some scotch and Stilton. I don't turn on the lights. I like moving through the dark while the world sleeps on, serene as a stealth bomber, nosing through clouds. Call it a preemptive strike, a precautionary measure, so sadly necessary in these perilous times. I don't call it anything but greediness, the weird glee of finding my way without incident. I know tomorrow I will regret having the Stilton. I will regret not being able to find a book to get lost in, and all those years I could get lost in anything. Until then, it's just me and you, brother knight. Moonless, plunked down behind enemy lines with no maps, no matches, the woods deep. Cheers.
We'll have breakfast and no one's wearing masks. And if you want more biscuits, you only need to ask. And there'll be no time for TV, no such thing as VIT. The screens will keep the bugs away, not hypnotize the kids.
Well, whatever. I'll knock this one out. And if
Knock it out.
This one's fun. In the Last Minutes of Mexico by Travis Weige. Lingering alone with my sunburn, a few pesos and a satchel of dirty clothes. Wash whips about buildings, and the doe eyes of the clouds mirror an old woman wearing a blue hat to lunch. So I wait and scribble at a cafe table. A priest talks in the street as the hippies of Europe smoke, as thoughts moan out, soft observations. A young woman squeezes her breast milk into a Coke bottle on a bus bench. Expats crouch at their sandals. Dogs hump by the trash pile. The coffin shop is closed for siesta. The owner naps in a wicker dream, stretching out each breath. Lovers snack on one another. Police pace about the cobblestone with aggressive glares. A child selling cheap trinkets meanders moodily. Flies storm my face, and orange soda, and I wave, and take a sip, and I wait for the bus in my last few minutes of Mexico.
That is a blast.
Oh man,
so fun. Oh my God.
The more you read over it, just really paints this wonderful little Spanish, or what, just this sort of sidewalk experience, just sitting and watching the world go by. I think it's so fun. The first one is so directed. There's so much energy behind it. There's so much just going back and forth. There's churn, emotional churn. And then this one just gives you that sort of life goes on.
Yeah.
And we're observing, and there you go.
Noticing the mundane.
Yeah. And nothing means anything, and everything means something, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And blah,
hey,
blah,
that's
blah,
my poem.
There we go. Didn't know it. Listen, guys, we're gonna get the Zoom hook here any second. So thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, invite me again. This is fun. Hey, I didn't know I'd have so much fun just being with two dudes.
Well, reading poetry.
Tell you.
That was the whole point. Yeah. Dudes read poems to each other just to see what happens.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be more awkward, but no, it was just kind of delightful.
You're let down, right? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's too comfortable. I'll take down another button. How about that? Make it really uncomfortable.
All right.
Just as you're reading, you just keep taking.
Totally.
Like, oh no!
I'll have a whole other tier for the video for that.
Yeah. You have to sign in. Are you over 18?
For our poetry reading.
You have been listening to Two Friends, Two Poems with guest Paden Fallis and your hosts Tom and Paul. Today we heard work by poets Allen Grossman, Tennyson Shultz, Rita Dove, and Travis Weige, the poet-knifemaker. You can read more of Tom's poetry and other writing by following him on Medium or visiting his Patreon at patreon.com/Tom Ward. Thanks. Go write a poem.